Look, I'm going to be honest with you, I primarily made this video just so I could use that thumbnail. But anyways, Nintendo has released a brand new look at Hyrile Warriors Age of Imprisonment for the Switch 2 coming out this winter. And anybody who's been following my channel for any length of time knows that I am a massive Hyrile Warriors fan. I put like 2,000 hours into the first game. I put probably close to 1,000 hours into Hyrile Warriors Age of Calamity. I've 100%ed Age of Calamity. I'm convinced that the first Hyrile Warrior is impossible to 100%. That game's insane. Anyways, that's neither here or there. I'm a huge Hyrile Warriors fan, and so I am very excited about Age of Imprisonment. It is literally the game I'm going to buy a Switch for. That's how excited for it I am. But I'm gonna be real, there are some parts of Age of Imprisonment that have left me feeling not so good, and we're gonna talk about that too. But first I want to go over the stuff in the trailer that I thought was really cool and really exciting. You can definitely tell they're trying to lure people into this game by giving a lot of different shots of Hyrile that we never had access to before, and it's kind of working for me. I love this shot of Raru's bling. Cosplayers the world over are very thankful for this clip, I'm sure. These sort of red blobby monsters made out of Ganon's energy or his malice or whatever it is. It seems like that's going to be some sort of new enemy type, so we won't just be fighting moblins and whatnot. It looks like we'll be fighting these floaty guys as well. That's kind of cool. Look, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't really care about Sonia's death in the original game at all. We got like 2 scenes with her. I really did not feel that emotionally torn up when, you know, Ganondorf sent her to the Shadow Realm. But with how much of a focus Sonia has been in these trailers, I feel like they are really trying to make us see what happened to her in a whole new light and make us actually feel some emotion when she kicks the bucket this time. So we got confirmation of what I think we always knew, that the primary roster of characters were going to be the ancient sages. We got our big Goron guy here doing some sort of slap attack. Look, I gotta be honest, I have not enjoyed playing any of the Gorons in any of the Hyrile Warriors games so far. Can't stand playing Darunia. Maxing him out was a miserable experience. I don't really like playing Yunobo. Daruk's okay. Of all the Gorons, I think Daruk is probably my favorite, but I've just not really enjoyed playing as the Gorons in the Hyrile Warriors games, so hopefully this gentleman can change my mind a little bit. But we still don't get to see his face. We just see him with the mask on. Same with our birdie friend here, the Rito champion. Although it doesn't even really matter who is under there, he's gonna be better than Rivali. We get a little bit of Minoru walking down a spooky hallway action, very cool. I am really intrigued by these cutscenes that seem to be just walking around exploring the environment. That is so atypical of the Hyrile Warriors games and of really any Musou games that I've played. Maybe there are some, you know, Dynasty Warriors games or something like that where walking around during cutscenes is really common, but I've certainly not experienced it, so I'm very excited to see how these play out. The fact we have joint attacks now is so rad, and I really hope that everybody has one combination with at least every other character. I can't wait to see how these joint attacks work. As you can see, Minoru isn't stuck to her construct. She has a moveset that utilizes what seems to be some sort of Zonai magic wand or something like that. Seems like she's just as capable on foot, so that's pretty cool, and that'll add a little bit of diversity to gameplay. Find you somebody that looks at you like Raru looks at Sonia. My. Here we have our Zora champion, although it kind of seems like they have the ability to fly. That's quite interesting. I wonder if they have a jetpack or something like that. I don't see one, but I don't think flying is normally a Zora thing. Either way, it's pretty cool. And now we get to see the Gerudo champion, whose face we do actually get to see. So the first thing I want to point out here is that this face is completely different from the one that data miners had picked. And the really interesting thing is that the original face that the Gerudo champion had seemed fully featured. Like, it didn't seem like it was just a random one picked out of the bunch. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's literally the spitting image of another Gerudo NPC. But like, it looked fully featured. It looked like a distinctive face. And then they decided to change it completely for this game, where they're finally showing what the champions look like without their masks. So I find that kind of cool. If that's the sage whose voice we're hearing, it definitely seems like they are really working to bring some more personality to these stages. I'm quite excited to see how that turns out.
But you sought it from Hyrule of all places? This is madness!
Although that could also very much still be Sonia's voice. It just kind of sounds different, but I might be hearing things. And look, I understand that if you've been following me for a long time, you know that I have a bit of a weakness for pretty ladies in Zelda games. and I have a bit of a tendency to maybe grow a little bit of affection for them. And all I'm gonna say is this is a very pretty lady, and I look forward to playing as her. That's all I'll say. Leave me alone. And then this absolutely insane teaser at the end. What is going on here? Like, they show a construct constructing itself essentially, and you know, that's interesting. Maybe we'll play as this construct or whatever, and it constructing itself of its own will, being locked away in some special chamber. That's pretty neat, and I'm excited to see how that turns out. But like, excuse me? Are you playing the first 2 notes from Phi's theme in Skyward Sword? Why? Can you explain that, please? Man, the way that I saw the internet explode after this, there's gotta be something here, right? Like, it's possible that they just accidentally made the notes sound similar to Phi's theme, but it doesn't seem likely. This seems intentional. And we already had them tease Phi with that cutscene in Breath of the Wild, where the sword spoke right and it sounded just like Phi. And they've even teased us with Phi's melody once before. Listen to the piano in the background of this scene.
The sword. So he can still be saved.
Princess!
So this is the second time they're doing it. What is going on here? Is it just going to be, you know, I've seen theories of all sorts of different things. I've seen theories that talk about how maybe Phi will escape from the sword and will take over this construct, or maybe, you know, somehow this construct is being assembled from the energy of the Master Sword. Is the music just a little nod towards Phi and about how the Master Sword is sentient, or are we actually going to get her returning as a character? I'm in kind of 2 minds about it. Like, I always understand when people talk about wanting Phi to come back, but I also think that her being relegated only to Skyward Sword makes her feel very special, you know? Her saying goodbye to Link and then becoming the silent guardian of the Master Sword again. It really felt like a solemn moment, like we were really truly saying goodbye to her when she left. And I do think a little bit of that would be left behind if she became like a character in a canon Zelda game. Like, her being in the first Hyrile Warriors doesn't bother me, obviously, because it's not canon, but this one will be, and her returning to it, I don't know if it is like full-bodied Phi making a return, or even if it's just Phi returning through this construct. I almost feel like it's a little bittersweet. I'm excited to have her back, but I also think it's going to cheapen her goodbye a little bit. I don't know, but that's just how I feel. And I don't feel that seriously about it. If it does turn out to be Phi, I'm going to be really excited about it. I do just, you know, a little tiny bit. I do feel like it cheapens her goodbye in Skyward Sword a little bit. Am I the only one who feels that way, or does anyone else? Let me know. And that basically brings us to the end of the trailer. So overall, you know, I'm insanely excited. I always have been. Age of Imprisonment looks utterly fantastic, and I cannot wait for it. I'm going to buy it day 1. I'm going to buy a Switch 2 for it. It is the game that is going to cause me to buy it. That's how much I love Hyrile Warriors. Not this new, supposedly incredible Donkey Kong game, although I do intend to buy that as well. It's Hyrile Warriors Age of Imprisonment that is selling the console for me. So obviously, I'm very excited. Like I said at the beginning though, I can't shake the feeling that this isn't necessarily a good thing. And it's not the game itself. Age of Imprisonment looks spectacular. I can't wait for it. But I know it's not just me, because Skitty, you know, the legendary Skitty Bitty released a video where they said pretty much the same kind of things I'm about to say. And I'm making a full video to sort of get my ideas out a little bit more about this, but doesn't it feel just a little bit wrong to people that twice now they've sort of released a game that's a little bit bare bones in the plot section, and then they fleshed the plot out with the spin-off. You know, Age of Calamity turned out to be kind of either non-canon or in its own universe, depending on how you want to look at it, but it still brought a lot more personality to those characters, right? We got to see more of them. And in this case, you know, Age of Calamity gave us more time to spend with the cast of Breath of the Wild, whereas Age of Imprisonment is bringing a personality to these characters where they had none before. And it is, you know, in Breath of the Wild, it was fleshing out the events of the Calamity, even though we basically knew how it went before, whereas now it is explaining the imprisoning war. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm not sure how I feel about using a spin-off to tell a story that I think probably should have been in the game to begin with. And I felt very similar to the whole Zelda notes thing. Again, I'm making a video about this where I give more expanded feelings, but like, I think they're cool. I really like Zelda notes, and I really get excited when new stuff gets uploaded. You know, I can't wait for Age of Imprisonment, and I can't wait to experience all the story has to offer. But I do feel some kind of way about the fact that twice now Nintendo has released a somewhat bare bones game, Zelda game in story-wise, and is fleshing it out with spin-offs and third-party material. I don't think that's how it should be, and I just worry that this is sort of setting a precedent. Like, is this just something that's exclusive to these games, or is this something that Nintendo's going to start doing for all Zelda games? Because I don't want that. I really do not want that. I'd like for them to tell the story they want to tell to completion in the original game, with such completion that they don't need to make a spin-off to flesh out characters that had zero personality in the original title. Like, it's a weird feeling for me. It's a little bittersweet. Like I said, I can't wait for Hyrile Warriors Age of Imprisonment. I know it's going to be good. I know I'm going to be obsessed with it. And this is no slight on the game itself. It does not dampen my excitement for it, even a little bit. I can't wait to play as my future Gerudo wife. But it just feels weird. It just feels weird. Let me put it that way. And I hope that it's not a portent of worse things to come. I really hope that this is just relegated to these Zelda games. But that's kind of all I have. This video is very off the cuff, which is very rare for my channel. I think I probably only have one other video where I turn on a mic and just start talking into it. But I really wanted to get something out for this because, you know, I have a bit of a fan base for Hyrile Warriors content, and I couldn't waste this thumbnail, this fantastic thumbnail. So thanks for watching. If you have any comments about the new trailer, or about if you feel some kind of way about the direction that the Zelda storytelling seems to be going in, or if you completely disagree with me, I'd love to hear about that too. You know what to do. Go down in the comments, let me know. And yeah, it's weird. I'm gonna go back to working out the video where I talk about it at length a little bit more. But for now, that's kind of a teaser of what's to come. Thanks for watching. And as always, stay safe out there. It's dangerous to go alone.